Hello, 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 boys and girls. Welcome to this video for King's Quest IV, the AGI version. Now, before I start this running, by this AGI version, when King's Quest IV came out, King's Quest IV was the first game that would come out in Shera's Creative Interpreter. And with King's Quest IV, Shera would therefore kiss AGI, or Adventure Game Interpreter, definitely goodbye. However, SCI is by far more sophisticated than AGI ever was, but therefore also more demanding on the hardware. It had higher resolution graphics, the music was much more sophisticated. It also supported object-oriented programming, which can also be a tiny bit more demanding on the memory. It had better caching possibilities. In short, everything was better than AGI, but the downside was more hardware requirements. And you have to remember, back in the day, having a computer at home was not something that you would commonly see. Yeah, it's actually required, excuse me, you to be rather rich. So having high hardware specifications for the time was even more rare. So Shera was a bit in a risky situation with their transfer to SCI, but at the same time they could also no longer remain at AGI. There were already many complaints about the graphics being too blocky and more things. And of course, competition came up from LucasArts, who had with Scum also an interpreter that was a bit more sophisticated than Shera stuff. So Shera 2 had to move on to better stuff. But as King's Quest IV was therefore, they were afraid that it might not sell too well. So they decided to still make an AGI version if not enough people would have enough high enough hardware specifications to make King's Quest IV. Then never fear, then the AGI version was still there. Well, the AGI version is almost identical to the SCI version, but there are some significant differences, most of them cosmetic, but there are actually a few that could effectively affect the gameplay. Well, let's just now I will let the intro just roll out. I'm only not going to recite everything that is on the screen. I already did that with the SCI version, and I don't really feel game to do that again. Well, if you take a look at the starting credits, then the two guys standing aside of it look basically the same as in the SCI version. The names you will see pass by are not all the same, although the designer and such are. But the programming team differs a bit, and also and especially when it comes to game system, you will see different names. As of course, you will then see the names of the people who created AGI, and SCI had a new team of developers. just for the engine itself. Of course, a few things. I really have to check it with the older King's Quest games if this was just taken from the earlier King's Quest games, but you can already see that Prince Alexander, aka Gwydion, Rosella and the King and the Queen are already drawn more sophisticated. And therefore I'm not fully sure. You can also see that I try to do the utmost to come as close to the SCI version as possible, and it really looks like they may actually have used some kind of conversion software that converts high resolution into lower resolution. And especially in the upcoming scene when Rosella and the fairy Ginesta, who are now going to get into interaction, are taken in a more close-up. Ginesta, there I really don't see it, but especially when I look at Rosella, I see some imperfections, especially in the black lines. You can already see it here at her chin a little. And yeah, now the game focuses on the mirror. And I think it will soon get back to the side screen of Rosella. And when you take a look at the pillar behind Rosella, you can also see the same imperfections as well, which are the clear trademarks of when you change the resolution of a picture from high resolution to low resolution. I'm sorry. Now I really noticed that I must remove my dentures. So while you further watch the intro, I will remove them, especially when, as I'm supposed to talk a lot now. I get better do that doing the intro. Be right back. Well, here you can very well see the imperfections of the black line around Rosella here. It's really bothersome. At least I think so. Here at Ginesta Rosella's hand or face comes through quite nicely, or wings. No comment there, that is really looking fine. Well, a few differences with the AGI version and the AGI version. First of all, the copy protection was of course what you saw when I started the game up. In the copy protection is already one of the 3 Easter eggs, which has been removed in the version that I am playing, so I can unfortunately not demonstrate those Easter eggs. Especially the first one I could not destroy, could probably not demonstrate in ScumVM, which I'm using now anyway. If you would press Alt D and type pirate, if I'm correct, then it would be standing on yo ho, you've been denied passage, which is of course referring to the Pirate's Life for me, Pirates of the Caribbean. Then one other difference that you may note is Ginesta will now fly away and go home to lie in bed, as she is lacking the energy to do anything else. In the AGI version, you will get a black screen for loading purposes and then get back for actually starting the game. Here the game starts just immediately. I guess that is a bit of a technical memory thingy or something like that. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, it does. It's just my save device is firing up. I guess I didn't use it for too long. Since after all this game requires less memory, so I'll be saving a lot, by the way, as this is my second attempt to record this game, and I lost everything after well, let's say an hour of playing, simply because well, I fell off a cliff and died, and could start all over, so I just destroyed that particular. I will also not really, like I did with my SCI recording, do everything by the specific task, since this is not required to do now until the second task. But hey, since I did pass this bridge now anyway, let's get it all over with. Well, if you didn't see my SCI recording, just make note of it again. King's Quest has always been, let's put it on the highest speed, been famous for its references to fairy tales, the fairy tales of Mother Goose and the fairy tales of the Grimm brothers, and Andersen, and well, many others. And of course here we see a reference to, I believe it was the Grimm brothers, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where Snow White would clean the house of the Seven Dwarfs. Now, and right now Rosella takes that role of Snow White. Of course, what Rosella and Snow White have in common is, of course, that they are both princesses. Here you heard a little silence when the music ended. That is a technical thing AGI in general. The sound engine of AGI was rather primitive compared to what SCI has had to offer, and therefore it could not loop music. So basically all AGI could do was check if the playing sound had ended and then just start in a new sequence, and that way create a form of a loop, but you would always hear a little silence. Of course, what you have to remember about AGI, right now when I type commands you see a window pop up and freezing the game until I finished my command. If you are using the real AGI engine in DOSBox or on an old DOS computer, that would never happen unless you were playing the game in the with the Hercules graphics card. The font that you see is also the Hercules font. Why this happens in the Hercules graphics mode and not in CGA and EGA and any other graphics cards? Well, anything higher than EGA would just be shown as EGA anyway. That is something I really don't know. Well, another difference with the SCI version was something you just saw happening. In the SCI version, the game would command, "Ooh, this dwarf must be really hungry. He is getting 2 balls of soup." Here you don't see that remark, but you do see him standing with 2 balls of soup. Only to find out later that that second ball of soup was meant for you. Now this is a bit of a boring sequence, and yeah, you cannot skip it. And that was also the reason why I set the speed to the fastest, but I'm actually not really sure if it matters that much. In most old AGI games, this would really be a lot faster. I'm always thinking that the game was protected against too high speeds, which was already a kind of an issue back then. The fastest, basically, if you set speed in games at the time, then it would basically just skip a few frames. But because of that, the speed of your computer would matter, and that could sometimes have pretty funny results. That some games were really going so fast that no human being could ever play them. AGI could respond to the computer clock. Unless you set it in fastest mode, then it would just go as fast as your computer would take, and then you would really notice the difference. Of course, this is CumVM. Perhaps that is also a bit of a thing. Now let's just clean. This second cleaning is, by the way, entirely optional. You won't get points for that. I will, by the way, try to get the full perfect score. I managed to do this on the SCI version, and on a test run that I did before recording at all, I also managed that. Yes, get pouch. Let's see. This clock has seen better days. The cuckoo has flown away. The clock is broken. Well, there is one clock in this game that works, and it's also pretty important, as there is a bit of a time issue involved, at least in this version. Let's slow it a bit down, as that was too fast for me. Of course, the dwarves work in a mine. You basically have 2 days and 2 nights to get the game finished, otherwise both Ginesta and your old man will die. Well, let's be honest and give the pouch back to the dwarf, or at least try it, but he refuses it and give me the lamp instead. In the AGI version, you would actually see him pick up that lamp and give it to Rosella. You see not. Well, it doesn't really matter that much anyway. Now, the low resolution makes it hard to see what this is. In the SCI version, you could really recognize this as a bird picking a worm. I do need this worm. Of course, this version of the game too, as well as the original, had what Shara was famous for: a few dead ends. If you forget to try to return the pouch to the dwarves first, then you will be stuck forever. Now, one difference is here I really must type look left wall. In the SCI version, just walking to the left wall and type look wall would suffice. And I have to be more precise about how to deal with the ledge. Well, I don't really have a use for the shovel yet. What I specifically came here for is this book by William Shakespeare. And other than that, I can't do anything in Dimension yet, as I have to wait till nightfall. That is something to make a note of. When I type look time here, now you can see it is 6:36 a.m. When the clock is at 9 p.m., it will be night. In the SCI version, having done a certain number of tasks will do that. Actually, when you obtain the fruit that will heal your old man. Yeah, nothing I can do here yet. Well, let's visit Low Lot already. Well, this is very uncommon for AGI games, but the text you see is actually timed. So it doesn't respond to when I press enter, like I normally have to do. And I will have to visit Low Lot multiple times. This is the first time, and then after having done each of the tasks she gives. The first one is to catch the unicorn. The second one is to catch the chicken who lays the golden eggs. And the last one is to obtain the Pandora's box. You don't look stupid enough to have wandered here. Well, you could already see the mountain pass. King's Quest has quite a bad reputation for these mountain passes. However, we are in luck as far as this game is. Now, if you would type this, normally it would trigger an Easter egg, causing Rosella to dance with some strange kind of poem. Yeah, there's no answer. But that Easter egg has been removed, and therefore this you don't ever want to know. Now basically you cannot do anything here except for waiting until the goons come to retrieve me. So the story will continue. And the corridor leading to the cell could, in the first version of in AGI, trigger the Easter egg if you type "beam me up," that you would get into a kind of a space station where you would meet the game's creators. But like I said before, all three Easter eggs have been removed. Yeah, come on, yes. Now, of course, Edgar is not unique to this game. We will meet him again in King's Quest 7, The Princeless Bride. And from there I can start my first task. I need a few things. I don't need the lantern yet, but if I don't have it yet, I would be screwed if I played on. Where are you, my dear? Oh, there you are. Apparently something was blocking me. Oh well. And let's go back to the place where I started. Now I'm really going to say first, as this was where I died out of stupidity due to this little fissure. Now this is something that I actually need for the Pandora box task. But when I was filming the SCI version, perhaps you remember, I had a lot of trouble with that minstrel not appearing. I really didn't want to have that happen again. You best stand here, the fisherman will go away. You must always make sure that he leaves the scene first before you go east yourself or the event will reset. This is, by the way, the case in both games. kind of an expensive fishing pole for an entire bag of diamonds, but hey, I do need it. Let's have a little look-see behind the house first. Yes. Well, that tool was only required for the Pandora box. And let's fish. Well, this is actually one of the first catch in one go. One of the first games in which you would hear a little jingle each time you score points. This is what I mean. This might well be only AGI games that has it, but that could also be because King's Quest IV was, of course, the first game to feature that at all. Yes. Time for a little swim. Yes, let's just save. Now I prefer to zigzag between the two screens. Yeah, okay. Because there's also a wheel here, but where I could still get away. When the wheel appeared in the SCI version. Here I will be swallowed immediately as soon as it appears, and that is very, very annoying, actually. And really something that cannot be helped. So it is merely a matter of luck, because I do need the peacock feather from this island before I get swallowed by the whale. Now, one nice little thing, foul language, like the F word or the S word, you were raised better than that. When you type this in the SCI version, then they would say perhaps you need a copy of Leisure Suit Larry. Well, and let's have a quick inventory check. I do need the dead fish, the peacock feather, and the lantern. Well, the lantern I don't need now, but these two items I do need now. So let's get swallowed by a whale. Well, I said a whale, not a shark. Yes, there it is. Now getting this bottle is optional, but you do get points for it. The note is inside the bottle. And SOS, I see a beautiful mermaid in King's Quest 2, but she won't help me. Please tell me what to do. I believe it was a different game in the SCI version. Now this tank must be climbed so I can reach, yeah, I don't know what you call this thing in English. Remember, English is not my first language. My first language is Dutch. The Dutch word is huig, by the way. I bet you are not trying to pronounce that and fail unless you are familiar with the Dutch language yourself. I must say that the Tonga game is in the AGI version a bit easier than in the SCI version. Perhaps due to the lower resolution, they had to be less precise on things, and that can sometimes work out for the better. Well, let's see. She's already standing and no longer climbing. It's of course pretty hard to see the difference between the red dress and the red tongue. I believe that was a bit easier to say in the well, let's get out of here as soon as possible. So, before I get swallowed by another shark again. Well, this whistle is my ticket off this island. So without that fish I would be screwed. And this golden bridle is what I need to get the unicorn. Yes, the dolphin would in the SCI version come somewhere here at the mouse pointer. Here it's located at the south. However, it will bring me back to the beach, I believe, at the starting point of the game, and it would there end up exactly at the same point where the game began. Well, one position south of that. Now I must be careful, as when I walk the wrong way, I may fall in the hands of Mr. Ogre. The ogre's house is immediately south of here, so there I am. Nothing happens. There is Cupid. Well, Cupid will always get startled and fly away. Nothing to do about that, but at least I have his bow. And that's what I needed. The birds are very pretty. I have been told that these birds would never appear in the SCI version. I never really verified if that is true. No. Let's see where that unicorn is. Yeah, I believe this should be one of the locations where it can appear. Yeah, I really hate those random factors. Yes. I'm not really sure if that heart appeared in... What the fuck? Yes, I do have that bridle. Yes. That is, yeah, where the AGI version is a bit better, as that command would surely been accepted there. Well, and with that I performed the first task. Pretty much shading work for only 16 colors. Well, I won't spend any time in the holding cell. I will immediately get my new task, which is to find the hand of the golden axe. And Lolotti will already state very specifically that this hand can be found in the house of the ogres. Before I get into that house, there's one thing I will need to take care of, and for that I need that golden ball that I found under the bridge. Of course, why the command use bridle on unicorn didn't work with you don't have it, it thought that I meant the unicorn as an inventory object. I really don't understand why, as I never had that trouble with any AGI games before. And of course, I wasn't the one who wrote the scripts. As far as I know, Shara games use a scripting language based on Lisp, which is really not the kind of language I like to use. Yeah, I cannot do anything with this waterfall yet, because that is what I needed that golden ball for. I need to lure myself a frog with that, who gives me a crown that can be used to turn myself into a frog. Now I really must find the puddle where that frog can be. Ah, there it is. The princess with the golden ball. And of course the frog would get it out. You accidentally drop the golden ball into the pond. And of course the princess kissing the frog would break the spell. I thought you were supposed to be a princess. Why, you're nothing more than a peasant girl. You blinks a bit when that remark would say nothing. Yeah, of course. I can't blow my cover, but I am a princess, huh? But of course I'm disguised. Now I do hear the points jingle, but it was 76 before I grabbed that ball. And it is still 76, because I don't need that ball anymore. But somehow I still got points for it. Well, who cares? Apparently 0 is still an amount. One of the few things that you can do when not standing in the right position. Now before I move on, first save a game, as the chance I would get myself eaten by a troll is pretty... Now if I venture into this cave without an oil lamp, I would surely be eaten by a troll, but that is something that comes later. Although I can do it right away now, I've got to think about it. I got the lamp after all. Or... yeah, rather not. Let's go to the ogre's house, as that is my next target now. However, as soon as I arrive there, it may be that the ogre himself or his wife, up until now I always encountered his wife at this point, but it doesn't really matter if it is the ogre himself or the ogre wife, both will kill me. That was the wife. Now, this is important. I can do this later, but if you are playing in true AGI or having the command prompt here, then you should type this while you are outside. And now I will just press enter. That will, but then you should not press enter and then enter. Otherwise, you would never be in time to get the bone tossed to the dog and be killed by the dog. Never happened to me. I think it will just eat you alive. Well, the only thing I need here it says you notice a closed door. This door is locked, and there is nothing there actually, and I'm pretty sure of that, as I did get myself the perfect score a few times already. So I'm really not sure why it is noted there. You must be very careful not to enter this doorway, or you will immediately get caught by the ogre's wife. Well, one difference with the original version, I can type the keyhole, and then it just says you see nothing special. In the AGI version, you would still get an image of what was happening at the other side, and still mention that there was nothing to see. But here you will only see that if the ogre is actually in his house. Well, let's save the game, as this is pretty critical. Getting out of here can much easier go wrong. In the AGI version, the chicken moves around on the table. Here it sits still. Now, you should already type open door before reaching the door if you don't have this window like I do. Yeah, the ogre will follow me, but if you just go west, you will mostly escape it. And with that, I have actually fulfilled my task for Lolati, so let's turn in. Poor hand, but nothing I can do about that anyway. Oh, that was a really serious mistake, but nice save. But if you right all the wrongs you have to do for Lolotti, you can get yourself the perfect score, and that is actually the easiest thing to do. Now the Pandora's box quest is, well, the most obscure one. The main line of the story is the same, but it is yeah, a wonderful reward. Well, in a certain sense, she did keep her word. The Pandora's box is, of course, based on Greek mythology. When Prometheus, if I say it well, created the human race, Zeus forbid Prometheus to give them the secret of fire, as fire was something godly. However, when humans still touched fire, Prometheus was punished, and the humans got themselves two presents from Zeus. Women. Yes, it is really misogynistic, old mythology. And a box which should never be opened. And of course the young girl Pandora. Of course a girl. I've already told you, quite misogynistic. Couldn't resist and gave in to her curiosity and opened the box and unleashed all the horrors within. Now before I go for the fruit to save Daddy, which is behind this waterfall, I first want to obtain a scarab that will protect me against the undead, as getting well through the next challenge. It is impossible to get through here without being killed by the trees if you don't swing that axe. Now, this is a bit nasty. I have to, of course, get the eye of the witches. one will actually chase me down and the others will always stand there. The one chasing me down is a bit lesser well controlled than in the SCI version. But it's harder to outrun her. Here I really actually have to lure her that kind of way that she can't go the wrong way. Of course, getting the eye itself can still prove to be... Yes, get around that pot. Yes, very well. And I effectively blinded the three witches. She would just walk back to her original spot and... Well... Of course, now they start actually chasing me down again. That reward they would get me is just another trip into the pot anyway, in order to be boiled alive. So, let's not give in to that one. Well, this is where the Pandora's box is located, but let's first go for the fruit to save my old man. I believe it is best technically possible to finish the game without obtaining that fruit. Now this cave is really bothersome. Let's save at the beginning and... Not that you see much more with that lamp. Yes, when it says grr, then the troll would eat me. Let's just pause to... But if you don't have the lamp on, then you would always be eaten. The route is roughly the same as in the SCI version. Yeah, I already saw that troll. Of course, I should actually save in every location when I didn't get myself a grr. Of course, this is... Yeah, in the SCI version I could put on, and I therefore took forever as the game would then say, why do that? If you type over, then it will actually understand. Well, okay, let's save. Yes. Well, in both versions, Rosella will pick up the board automatically and also automatically around. This is very important that you do this, turning off the light, because if you don't, you won't make it back, and the lamp will run out of oil. Well, swamp. At the SCI version, the snake will only appear when you get close to that tree. Here it's already there by default. And in the SCI version I have to find put board on swamp. Here it's just put board. It doesn't really make sense. But the big myth that snakes would be hypnotized by flute music. Snakes do not really seem to be able to hear so well, if hearing at all. Yeah, this way back is a bit tricky. Well, just like in the SCI version, it's put board. A little difference is here that when you walk too far south, you would always get killed by the chasm. Here I still had to move a bit west for that. It's beginning to get dark is not referring to the cave, but it is actually referring to the outside. Very well. And now to save Ginesta, but then I first need that Pandora's box. Well, for that I must do this ghost house thing. In the SCI version it would already be night by now, as it would always be night at the moment I get the fruit. Here I am really dependent on the time. And it says that the time now is 8:49 p.m. I really get the feeling that time goes faster here than in real time. But as long as it isn't dark, there's not much I can do. At 9 p.m. it will be dark. Apparently I did this as fast as in the original playthrough, as there I also was around 8:50 when I arrived here for this particular side quest, or main quest. So I guess I just timed it well. Time and time in time and time is precious. I know that. I really don't know the lyrics of that song, but it is a very nice song by Culture Club. $8.55. Time goes fast. basically I just got to wait for nightfall. Now, one important note, if it is actually 9 p.m., nothing will happen as long as you stand inside here. You must be outside to see it getting darker. Well, let's kill some time. Oh, there's not anyone here who would be impressed with your music. Yes. Apparently I had to leave the room for that. Okay. And now I can begin the sound of a crying baby. That would not be heard if it was still daytime. Wrong room. Yeah. Crying over you. Now, basically, the quest is exactly the same as in the AGI version. The big difference is that the zombies could have a bit more trouble in chasing you, but they will get you anyway, so that is not the one. So you will still want that scarab, or you simply won't make it. Guten Abend, guten Nacht. Da 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 Yeah, of course, this is a different tune. And rattle of chains downstairs. My hand was not at the right position above the keyboard. Well, a stooped old miser. Basically, that is the hint that is needed to find the right tombstone, as you cannot make out their names. The tombstone I get the rattle from was clearly referring to an infant. I really like this tombstone. Not that there's anything buried here, but it's just a nice read. In memoriam 1496, I plant these shrubs upon your grave, dear wife, that something on this spot may boast of life. Shrubs must wither and all of earth must rot. Shrubs may revive, but you, thank heaven, will not. No, that's not the grave I was looking for. Here lies Newberry Will. His wife was finished cause he took ill. But none will miss him. He should have been wiser. It is his own fault for being such a miser. Miser, that was the key word. Yeah, what a little dung beetle can do. That is what a scarab actually is. In old Egyptian, I've been called it was a scarabée. The old Egyptians believed that the sun was moved by a scarab, like a dung beetle moves a dung ball. Stairways is always a bit of a trouble in the older Shera games. Now, a big difference with the SCI version. In the SCI version, this room would first be empty, and after a short while, the ghost would appear. You see the sad ghost of a beautiful young woman. She sits in her rocking chair and weeps as if her heart will break. Let's see. Yes. Betty Cowden, 6050 to 6069. Well, that means that she must have died at the age of 19. Here lies the body of Betty Cowden, who would live longer, but Betsy Cowden, sorrowing grief made her decay when she lost her lover at sea one day. A locket. 147 out of 230. Wailing from downstairs. Yeah, this time it's the lord of the house. He's also dead, but he wanders the place. You've encountered the gentleman ghost of the distinguished lord of the manor. He wails despondently as he seems to be looking for something he desperately wants. In the AGI version, I always encountered him in that room. In the SCI version, it's random, but always on the lower floor. Lord Coningsby, 1559 to 1626. Sleeps here in peace, an honorable man, a valiant soldier. He served his country well. An impressive Medal of Honor! Well, that zombie was only out for a very short while. Cause this is Thriller Night. The little boy laughs and refuses to budge from his seat on top of the chest. It might help if he had a toy to play with. Yeah, well, this was the one that made the least sense to me. Reader, he lies, but forbear. To read more without a tear. One I could not speak the rest. You may weep, I'll smite my breast. Grief preventing and this stone, too small to be written on. Only this, a little boy, Willie in Abraham's bosom laid. Well, this is the place to dig. And I find a toy horse. Oops, your shovel is broken and is no longer of any use. Now, I don't really remember if my shovel also broke in the SCI version of the game. One thing I do notice though is that the zombies can apparently not attack me while I'm still digging, and we'll wait until the digging is over. The SCI version, they will attack me while I'm digging. Now in the SCI version, the boy would appear here on the gallery and just go the same way up again. In this version, it is just reduced to you hear some naughty giggling and they won't show the sequence again. Which is actually only for the better, if you ask me. Give horse. Wild horses cannot drive me away from you. The sheet music. Luckily, I didn't have to pinpoint precisely, as one false move and you will fall down and kill yourself in the process. Ooh. These round-going stairs are a downright disaster, as Shara tried something new here, but it turned out a failure, and luckily they never used this again. This was not even the worst of it. And particularly when I'm going into the confrontation with Lolotti, this will be very bothersome. I have to press up, but Rosella will then come to me. In nearly all Shera games, I would then have to press down, even though I went upstairs. Well, just play first. Just a very nice song. You can only remember one oldie but goodie. But that won't do any good. It is a nice song though. Now, is it just me, or do the first note Rosella plays remind me of Staccato by Johann Sebastian Bach? Of course, the only way to get out of here is down that fucking stairway. I hate it. Now, for some reason, it's easier in the AGI version of the game than in SCI. I guess high resolution and more technical stuff come at a price. And perhaps they also realized that at Shera's. Well, for the heck of it. 9:50 p.m. According to the game, I've been always an hour in this mansion. Now, truth is, when I look at my recording, I did this recording in 2 phases, and I started the new phase just as I was waiting for nightfall. And according to my recording software, it's only 20 minutes that I've been spending here. I never tried it, but I think I would get killed. Clearly. Now that was not deliberate, that was just stupidity. The SCI version would remark, "Hey, luckily this is a rope ladder." And here Rosella just rolls it out, of course, nothing to fear from that memory because I have that scarab. I guess that was a kind of last. Come on. Yeah, she moves to the right spot. And of course, task fulfilled. So let's just go back to Lolot. The trees still fear me. No more business with these witches, fortunately. The backside of the ogre's house, but no business with that ogre anymore. So let's go to the final confrontation with Lolati. At least Rosella decides to be honest about her name. And thankfully Lolati doesn't make any link to Princess Rosella. Of course, the land of Tamir is said to be very far away from Daventry. So it's of course hard to tell if Lolati actually knows that the crown princess of Daventry is called Rosella. Yeah, well, just like in King's Quest 3, my entire inventory is gone. Well, at least this looks more luxurious than that cell. You don't have time for that. It's private. Well, what can I do here? Basically, at this moment, nothing at all. It's just waiting. And then Edgar will pass a rose under the door. What's this? A beautiful red rose. And now the worst part of the game. This Stairway. I really don't want to use any adjectives for that stairway. Now, the Dutch word for stairs is trap, which you spell the same as the English word trap. Basically, that really sums up what this stairway is, a trap. Really, I swear. Yeah, now she walks normally again. Now, of course, doing this without waking the goons is a bit harder than in the AGI version. And also a bit more illogical, but you will see soon enough what I mean with that. So far so good. Well, and I get points for that. They do seem pretty inconsequent with the jingle every time I score points. But I also noticed that in the AGI version, to be honest. Now, randomly, I may wake this goon. And this is very, very strange. In the AGI version, I would have to walk this way, this way, this way. Otherwise, the goon would wake up and get me. If I do that here, the goon will wake, but if I just go straight on, it won't wake. I'm really not sure what the logic behind that is. Now, there is another very terrible thing. As soon as I reach the top of the stairs, I will reach Lolotti's bedroom. And I cannot save here, but one false move and Lolotti will wake up and kill me. I'm melting is a reference to the Wizard of Oz, where the evil witch of the West would melt as soon as she touched water. I see that here that it doesn't work on time. And now I have to wait for Edgar to appear. Yes, yes, Rosella is a beautiful girl, eh? And now I am playing Rosella, so I am now the beautiful girl. When I look into a real life mirror, my mirror tells me different, but who cares? Talisman. Basically, if I now give the amulet to, or talisman, or whatever, to Ginesta, I will have instantly completed the game. And I said, in order to get a perfect score, you must right the wrongs you committed for Lolati. And that is actually quite easy. The goons won't bother me anymore. The mistress is dead after all. And they honor me now. Why always that melody when chickens are involved? Well, that hen actually belongs to Ginesta and will automatically be turned in for 2 extra points, and those will always be the last points you can get. Well, it won't work here, as this Easter egg has been removed, and thus the message, how can you do that? One difference between the SCI version and this version is that I can still enter my old cell. If you try to do that in the SCI version, the game would state that you no longer want to enter your old cell. And I guess they would be right, as I would certainly wouldn't do that if I was Rosella for real. And now, of course, that thing that King's Quest has always been feared for, the mountain passes. Now this one is not that hard, but this time the goons won't carry me. Quite odd. When they were against me, they helped me, and now that they worship me, they don't. $214 points. Not bad at all. Ooh. 1 pixel more and I might have met the ogre. La 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 la. It's still here. The unicorn doesn't trust you anymore. Hey, it had to be, Now the best place to cross the sea is from the fisherman's spear. Of course, always save before you do that. There's still a shark out here. Now, another difference is I could stay in front of the bed to return that talisman. Now I really must stand here and endure that message. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot something. I already noted that I had less points than I should have. Ah, no worries, no worries, no worries. That's what we saved the game for. Yeah, at the moment I give the talisman back to Ginesta, I should only have 2 points off the 230, 228. But I know what I forgot. I didn't want to end up here at the ogre's place. Although the ogre didn't appear, I did not want. Well, let's try it anyway then. As there is one wrong I didn't get right. And then I could get the full score. Something you easily forget. Well, the mummy will appear again. You lock the crib and kick the key under the door. Well, this way nobody could open it again. At least I remember that vaguely that the AGI version said something of the sort. And now there, I don't think it would matter that much for the closing animation. As a matter of fact, I already know that as I did forget it before. But for this recording, I did want to have a perfect score. And so far, this is the only Shera game in which I managed to get the perfect score. So then I should show it too. Of course, that also worked in the AGI version, and there I did show it, so. Of course. Now, did I return? Of course, I didn't save, and thus I had to get that shark. Huh? Yes. Jeroen, did you know that you are a downright idiot? Of course, in a moment like this, you have to be struck by Murphy's Law. After all, that shark would normally never appear unless you forget to save. Huh? Oh well, no use crying about it. What has been done has been done. Oh well, I guess it is dropped. Yeah, 218, I believe that was the amount of score. I will take a different slot though. Not that I'm going to do it over if this really proved to be a bug, keeping me away from the perfect score, but it's... Things did go a little bit odd, so I really want to make sure. La da 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 da. Now it could be very well possible that the ogre no longer appears if you escape Lolotti's castle, but you never know. I really wanted to make sure that I didn't encounter it, and boom, twice past his house. Oh well. Scheisse passiert. Scheid gebeurt. Yeah, we really don't know for sure anymore, eh? Of course, now I did save, so now the shark doesn't appear. Murphy's Law. Well, and now let's do that again. You will save my life, Rosella, and blah 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 blah. Well, the closure animation is that not much different from the AGI version, only a bit lower resolution and lesser quality in the music. And use the 2 extra points for turning in the hand, and I have the perfect score of 230 points. I think this prince did look better in the AGI version. I guess the lower resolution did not turn out too well for him. Don't cry yet, Edgar. You will meet your beloved Rosella again. And picking up the adventurer's hat, which has always been symbolic in King's Quest, with maybe the big exception of the Princeless Bride and Mask of Eternity I don't even see as a King's Quest. And the legendary adventurer's hat back on the head where it belongs. And then one other difference with the SCI version is your secret code is 18E4D64D4A. I really don't know what that's supposed to mean. I have looked through the documentary I got with this game. If I remember correctly, it was included in the Roberta Williams and anthologies, which I have, but I copied most of the content on those CD on my personal hard drives back then, and that's also where I found this game. Anyway, the game has ended, the perfect score, and Graham has been saved, and the story will continue in King's Quest V, where he will have to put on the adventurer's hat again, as that is, of course, a story with Graham in the lead. Now, I must say, I only completed King's Quest V once, and that is ages ago. I hardly remember anything from King's Quest V, so I really will have to study that game some more before I even think about recording that one. So that's not going to happen for a while, if it happens at all. Anyway, this is the end of this video for King's Quest 4 AGI version. I hope you like this video, and well, perhaps you can also watch my video about the SCI version. If you really want me to do a video in which I constantly switch between the two games, so you can constantly see in what way the game is different on that point, then let me know in the comments below, and then I will think about it, but no promises. Let me show as it is really, of course, dependent in how I am on my time and how I am with other projects, etc, etc, etc. But I will always think about it, and if I get the time, I will get into it. Anyway, this is the end for now. See you another time, maybe. Goodbye. Take care of yourself and for each other.